Shiva, could you explain to people your work, your backstory? And the reason I want to get that out there, because Anusha Asuri as well, never heard of him, didn't know anything about the man's plight. And I'm just wondering how many Anushas are out there.
Yes, good morning to all of you. Yes, you raised a brilliant point, actually. How many others are there that we don't know their names? I was a prisoner when I was 16 years old and spent around 3.5 years in prison, being tortured physically, psychologically. Many of my teenage friends got executed and even raped before execution. And there wasn't no lawyer whatsoever. But the point is that now, even though I was released many years ago, but the reality is now in Iran, hundreds of political prisoners under torture, physically, psychologically. They've been raped, sexually. Basically, they go through sexual abuse and all this. And we don't know their name. You're absolutely right. Like someone like Anusha Asuri, or if I may add two more people, one of them specifically, Mehran Rauf, who is a dual national, a British Iranian, who are currently in prison, the labor activist, and also Mourad Tahbaz, who is an environmentalist, who is on furlough. I think the foreign minister said that on furlough temporarily. But someone like Mehran Rauf, for example, or Anusha Ashuri, we never heard of their name. And of course, thanks to Richard's campaign, and recently families of Anusha Ashuri joined the campaign to raise their voices. But there are many. Right now, is that like they used all sorts of torture in Iran, depriving prisoners from medical attention. They use that to actually torture prisoners, exiling them to common prison. And we know in the case of Nazanin, they sent her to the infamous women prison in Iran, the common prison, where they hold like people who are arrested for murder and drug, etc. And this is the way they want to put their life in danger. And the problem is like this arrest is not just for people in Iran. And we know that as two of them, amazing news that they reached home, and we're really glad about it. We get many reports received by Campaign to Free Political Prisoners that there are many torture, like solitary confinement. Like myself at the time, I was in solitary confinement for 7 months in one occasion. And we know that this is a common psychological and physical torture, in fact. And right now we see that not just people in Iran in danger, actually many dual citizens are arrested. Some of them are kidnapped from neighboring countries and they've been tortured, one been executed, Ruhollah Zam, and they use it as bargaining chips. I mean, we heard the foreign minister talking about it. They arrest them, they use them in negotiation. And although I'm extremely happy that Nazanin and Anusha are here because their family went through hell, and I don't think they have believed it yet. None of us believe it, especially their family. But the hostage-taking policy of Islamic regime won't stop. And we know that now we have many dual citizens that they are in prison. They use them in negotiation, and this needs to be stopped. And the only way that needs to be stopped is the government of especially European country that put pressure on the regime. Current president of the Islamic regime has committed crime against humanity. In 80s ordered the execution of more than 5,000 political prisoners. Right now we have a person
Shiva,
committed the biggest
Shiva,
crime against humanity.
It's amazing.
And the question
Shiva,
is what Boris Johnson does about it.